It has happened again, you guys. It has happened again. C9, man, I have no words. I mean, I did say last week that they were going to lose, but I did not expect this. I would be lying if I said I expected this. I mean, it was domination. It was one of the most one-sided series we've had all year. Like, you thought last week was bad? Oh my god. At least last week they had one game where they were actually competitive. This week they just fell apart. This team, man. This team just falls apart when there's pressure, you know? Like, Team Liquid rolled over C9 today. It was annihilation. And I do think that this is the result that everyone should want. Who wants to see Cloud9 at MSI, bro? You want to see them choke against another team at MSI? I'm good. I'm so glad they didn't make it. You know, not saying I was praying on their downfall, but I think the two best teams in the LCS went to MSI, or are qualifying and going to MSI this year, which I'm very happy about. Even as a FlyQuest fan, I can acknowledge that at this moment in time, TL and Lion are two best teams in the LCS. I think we can all make that clear right now and say, as an LCS fan, you should be happy, because whether you support FlyQuest, C9, TL, Disguise, Dignit, like, it doesn't matter who you support. If you are a believer in NA, and if you want NA to do well at internationals, we are sending the two right teams to represent us in international competitions. So, first and foremost, very happy with the result. I did think TL was going to win. I did not think it was going to be this one-sided, but I did think they would win 3-1. That was my prediction earlier. TL deserves a ton of credit. We're going to get to TL. I do have to address C9. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I've talked about how C9 are chokers. I think it's pretty obvious now. The players can deny it all they want. I mean, I don't know what they were coping about last week during their whatever podcast they do, where they were reviewing the games, and they're like, oh, this game was winnable and we should have won game 1. We had better draft game 2. Like, bro, you guys got stomped last week and you guys got even more stomped this week. Like, give yourselves a reality check, bro. You guys are not good enough. And making excuses and saying that you should have won this, and it's just execution gap and all this, and bro, I don't know what these guys were talking about on their podcast, and I don't know what Sven was talking about on pros, but clearly they were hiding from what the actual truth was, is that this team, under the pressure, folds. And I don't know why they're too scared to acknowledge that, but that is what it is. And until they actually address that point, if they're dancing around it every single year, every single split, it's not going to go anywhere. It doesn't matter if you change the coach, the players, the fans. It doesn't matter what you change. If this team refuses to see that when the lights get bright, this team falters, then, bro, next split will be even worse. They have a lot of thinking to do and a lot of soul searching to do, because what I saw today was definitely not what I've seen over the past how many ever weeks where they dominated the regular season. Now, I do think on paper TL is a better team. I've thought that all year. I think TL's players are just better. C9 as a team was performing better than TL and basically every other team in the LCS throughout the entirety of the regular season. But I think on paper, I would take a lot of teams, or not a lot of teams, but I would take 3 teams over C9 on paper. And I'm talking about the players that they have. So I do think they don't have like the strongest set of players. I think their top and support are like the 2 best at their position, and I think that they are like what holds this team together. But apart from that, it's a disaster. How many times has Blabber been outshined by X or Y jungler on the biggest stage? APA, I mean, we saw the shortcomings of him all of last year and the year before on TL. He had a good regular season, and APA is a good player. I'm not saying APA is a bad player. Listen, I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying these guys are bad. I'm not saying they're bad. I don't want to disrespect these guys because they're pros and they're a lot better than me or you or anyone else, you know, apart from other pros. But on a roster that wants to win an LCS title and go to MSI and go to Worlds, I don't think APA and Sven are good enough to do that for you. I just don't. It's 2026, bro. Like, I know APA had a good regular season, but like, I like how everyone just knew that no matter how bad Quid had played in the regular season, that Quid would absolutely steamroll this guy. Because Quid is just better, like, by far. And so is Saint, and so is Quad. Like, I'm telling you right now, he's not good enough. Sven, he's not good enough. Sven is solid. He's a respectable guy. I love his personality. Cool guy. He's very interesting to hear from. I love, his interviews and stuff like that. He keeps it real, but I just don't think he's at the level that you need to be an ADC who wants to go to an international tournament and actually perform. Like, I would take Yan over him, Masu over him, Berserker over him. I would even take Rahel over him. On some days, I would take B-Boy over him. Like, that's how low I think of him as a ADC. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think he's to the level that is required in order to compete for, an international tournament. I just think that you can get away with him performing like that in the regular season, but in the playoffs against the top teams, you will lose with ZAPA and Sven on your team. And don't get me started on Blabber. I mean, the thing about Blabber that's frustrating is, unlike APA and Sven, I actually see a lot of mechanical talent in Blabber, which is really frustrating because I think Blabber is super talented and he always has been. But the problem with Blabber is, I don't know what some of his decisions that he makes are, but they're just not good. Plain and simple, they're just not good. Like, in game 3, he's playing Sejuani, and they're trying to do a play where they're like, everyone on TL is on the Baron, and Blabber and Thanatos are trying to kill a Shen, who is like 2k up and has a lot of armor and MR, and he's very tanky, and they're trying to kill him as an Mbessa Sejuani under his tier 2, and then he spellbook TPs, and then the Baron is already gone. Like, these are the type of decisions I'm looking at. I'm like, bro, what are you guys doing? Some of their drafting, even today. Did you guys even watch Team Liquid? Like, I wonder, does anyone even, do they watch Team Liquid? Team Liquid probably plays more Zyra Rakan than any other team in Pro League. Like, they are the Zyra Rakan team. They will blind Zyra Rakan if they need to. But they will for sure pick Zyra Rakan if you pick a Nocturne into them, which is exactly what they did last week against FlyQuest. But for some reason, TL did the same thing, or C9 did the same thing, and first picked Nocturne. And just like FlyQuest, they walked right into TL's trap. And I thought they wouldn't make the same mistake and give them a free Zyra Rakan angle. But the moment they picked Nocturne, it was wraps. Because not only did they give Zyra Rakan, they also gave Quid Rise, which is, apart from any of the melee picks that he plays, Rise is his best champ. It's his best ranged champ. He's a very good Rise. And not only is a very good Rise, you also gave Jose Deodo his best champ. Lee Sin is Jose's best champ. Like, it was getting permabanned against him last week because no one wants to face that. So you gave TL their best bot lane pairing, their best jungler champ, one of their best mid lane champs, and you expect to win that game when you're playing a dive comp into Zyra Rakan Rise and Jose's Lee Sin? Like, what are you guys thinking drafting that? Playing dive into TL is probably one of the worst things you can do, especially if you leave up Zyra Rakan. So I thought game 1, I mean, I knew as soon as I saw the draft, I was like, TL is going to steamroll them because this is their bread and butter. They love playing this comp, bro. They play this comp every day. They'll just play it for fun. Like, that's just what they do. And then games 2 and 3, like, some of the fights that I saw, like, I actually don't think C9 was that behind in some of the lanes. Like, I thought, in the early games, they were actually doing fine, which I think is one of their weaknesses. But in the early games, they were actually doing fine. The problem is, when it came to the fights, they got absolutely blown out of the water. The Grub fight in game 2, I don't know how they misplayed that so badly. Like, they should have won that fight. The fight in game 3, where they one-shot the Nico and basically get Nico to 1 HP and force Nico to base, and right before or right as the soul is spawning for TL. It's a 5v4 and you somehow lose that if you're C9. Nico's not even there, and Nico's one of the best champions around objectives. And their big engage go button is currently sitting in base waiting for her health to regen. And you are fighting against 4 champions as 5, and you somehow lose the fight and lose the objective? Like, how? Like I don't understand. Like, how does that happen if you're C9? So their team fighting needs a lot of work. I don't know if they're not on the same page. I don't know what's going on. I think their understanding of the game is good. I think even Jan said it himself. I think they have good macro. The problem is they just don't have the players who can execute their decision making besides two, and that's Thanatos and Vulcan. And sometimes their decision making, sometimes even during team fights, is off, and that comes mainly from Blabber. He's the shot caller of the team, and sometimes he will overforce or he will make the wrong decision. He's prone to doing that. And APA and Sven are just not mechanically good enough to compete with the top players in the LCS or even in any other league. Forget the LCS. Put APA and Sven and LEC or LCK, LPL, forget those two, but LEC, even CBLOL. Like, I don't know if APA would be the best mid laner in CBLOL. Like, or even like VCS. Like I don't think these guys are good enough. I think they need wholesale changes. They need a guy to come in and just like take the reins and never look back. They had Berserker. They failed with him. They had Jojo. They failed with him. I don't know who they can succeed with at this point. I'm not really too sure. So they have a lot to do. I'm not too surprised they lost, but I'm really surprised in how they lost because I definitely did not expect them to get swept. I think that was like very surprising for me. So very difficult if you're a C9 fan to process this, but I think if you're any other fan besides C9, I think you're happy with this result because I think TL and Lion are the two best teams in the LCS right now. But yeah, we'll see what happens. FlyQuest are coming though. I promise we'll be back for Worlds, and I think we'll be good. We'll be good by then. But as of right now, TL and Lion got it, man. They're just too clean. They're just too clean right now. I do want to talk about TL. I think TL is really good right now. I think they've identified a clear way of how they want to play. I think I talked about it last week as well, but putting Morgan on weak side is really doing wonders for them. More of a facilitating player. Like, you know, before they used to try to play to Morgan's lane and kind of have him as a focal point, but they're shifting their attention to Quid, and I think that's really like beneficial to them. Yon and CoreJJ are playing like how they normally do. Like that was like the one shining light for TL always was their bot lane. But they're also giving CoreJJ more like playmaking and engage. Like I don't think they picked one enchanter unless you count Bard, but Rakan, Bard, Nico were the three champs that they picked for Core today. And any champ that has agency, I think Core is really good on those champs. Like I don't like Core on like Lulu, Milio, Karma, Seraphine. Like I don't like Core on those type of champs. I like Core on the Rakans, the Rels, the Alistars, Leona, Bard, Nico. Like Core is really good on these playmaking supports. He can really impact a game because he has really good ideas and his engage timings are always on point. And he's just really smart and his mechanics are good. So it's very easy to play with a support like CoreJJ if he's playing that type of style. So they've really identified what works for them and that's really good. It's going to be a banger series tomorrow. I think series tomorrow is going to be like insane. I'm really excited for it. I really think it's going to be like hype. I think it's going to be like a 5-game series. I'm not really sure who's going to win. It's very difficult for me to predict who's going to win. The problem is like whoever loses, it actually matters a lot because the MSI format this year is going to have LCK teams, an LCK and an LPL team, I believe, in the play-in phase. And like, I think only one can get out or maybe two. Like I'm not really too sure if like that favors, either of the LCS teams. So you definitely don't want to be the second seed if you are Lion or TL. So tomorrow's game will actually have some stakes. The jungle matchup is going to be really interesting. Inspired versus Jose. I think these two have been the best junglers by far this year. Jose has his champs. I think the problem with Inspired, like for other teams to play against him, is that I think Inspired can basically play anything. I don't think Inspired has a champ pool. I think he has a champ ocean. Like Inspired is a guy that can play whatever style of jungle he wants to, and he is super complete as a jungler. I think Inspired is just, he's that guy. And Jose is really like, he's right there. I think Jose is really good as well. Jose is definitely more aggressive than Inspired. Inspired will kind of like, you know, he will let the game come to him. But I will tell you right now, Lion will be really connected as to what they want to do. I think the biggest problem with, you know, TL versus Lion is going to be like, Lion is going to be really connected in knowing like, okay, they want to give an objective. Okay, they want to fight this. You know, this guy's coming, that guy's coming, or we should get a pick on this guy. Like, because Inspired is just, he's dictating the whole game. And everyone's just listening to this guy. Like, that's just how like big his influence is. And then if you're TL, like, it's kind of like more by committee. But TL's lanes are also really good. I think Inspired even said it himself. Their laning is kind of their strength. But even today, I think like their team fighting was really good. I don't even think their laning was like amazing. I just thought their team fighting was really great. So it's gonna be a fun series. But I think I'm actually gonna favor TL. I'm gonna favor TL 3-2. I just think that the momentum that TL is carrying right now is super big. I think they seem to have a recipe that like works for them. I think Lion is really good, and I would not be surprised at all if Lion won. I think it's like 50-50, honestly. I think these two teams are really close. Last time they met, I believe Dokla played a bunch of range tops into Morgan. But I think it's going to be interesting because Dokla also likes to play weak side as well. So I think there might be some sort of like battle for Sion or Cassante because both top laners will like to play these type of champs. Mid lane, Saint versus Quid. I think pretty similar, low-key. I think both are really good on assassins. They're really good on basically like I think Saint is a little bit better on the control mages than Quid is, but I think Quid is a little bit better on the assassins. But they're both really good. I think these two guys are psychotic. Like they will fight you wherever they want, and yeah, these guys are really good. And then Berserker and Isles versus Yon and Core. I mean, it's just so juicy these matchups, bro. Like. Dokla versus Morgan, Inspired versus Jose, Saint, Quid, Berserker, Yon, Korn, like Isles, like bro, these teams are really good and they match up really well with each other. So that's why it's really difficult for me to like give any team a clear advantage. But I'm gonna favor TL slightly just because of the momentum that they're carrying, and I think they'll probably have a little bit more support in the crowd as well. And I think that'll probably make a difference. So yeah, don't sleep on TL, man. They're a really good team. But apart from that, I think that's about it. Watch for Lion giving objectives. They like to do that a lot. They don't fight a lot unless they have to. They'll play very happy to just play for gold and just scale. But TL is also a team that drafts a lot of scaling. So I think draft will also be super important. We'll have to see who gets banned, who gets picked. Some very important picks for each team. We have the Vayne for Dokla. I think that's super important for him because he can definitely use that as a counter to anyone that Morgan picks. Morgan, which watch for weak side champs for him. I think that they're gonna keep drafting a lot of tanks and a lot of bruisers and a lot of weak side champs for him. Jose, he will definitely want anything that has some sort of skirmishing power, the Lee Sins, the Nefiris, Vise, Zinzaos, Jarvans. He just loves these type of champs, Pantheons. I don't really consider him as a tank player, honestly. I don't think he plays tank junglers as well as he plays carry junglers. And I think Inspired, just watch out for anything. And he could pull out whatever he wants in Inspired. He just can play whatever. Saint and Quid, pretty similar champ pools. I would be completely fine. I think Rise is really important because I don't think Quid plays Cassio or Anivia. And I'm not sure if Saint plays either one either. So I think Rise is a big contention point because yeah, I think neither of these mid laners will play Anivia, and I don't think Quid plays Cassio, and I'm not sure if Saint does it or not, but Rise is going to be super big because I think both will prioritize, just knowing that they don't play the counters to it. So watch for the Rise prio. And apart from that, they will both love the melee mids, Akali, Yone, Silas. Just watch for those. And then bot lane, Berserker and Owls will play the standard stuff, Lucian Milio, Ashe Seraphine, Caitlyn Bard. These are just stuff that they'll like to play. But TL has their classic Zyra Khan. Yon is very capable of playing stuff like Aphelios if needed. We saw that in the game against TL, against C9, a couple weeks ago. So I think it's going to be really fun. I prefer Core on more engaged supports. And I like Isles more on Enchanters. I think Isles is really very good on Enchanters. And surprisingly, Isles is really good on Poppy as well. I think his Poppy is really good. So yeah, I think these are kind of the breakdowns I'd say for each team, but I'm going to slightly favor TL here. We'll see what happens. Apart from that, I think it's going to be a really good series. It's going to be a banger in my opinion, and hopefully it goes the distance because I think we were kind of robbed these playoffs. We haven't really had bangers apart from the series a couple weeks ago, the first week of playoffs. So I do want Game 5. So hopefully we get it. But yeah, man, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll see you later as always. Have a nice day. Peace.